One of the most important things at this point, at least for me, is to really become very discerning about what is feeding anger, what's feeding resentment or disappointment. Because, and I noticed this as an actor, I noticed that I could argue that it's the soap opera producer approach to news, to keeping people in their seats, keeping them angry at the other side, or what is that dastardly figure who I hate with all my heart going to do next? But we're there, we're looking there. And if we begin to recognize that whenever we are watching media or allowing our mind, our energy to drop, we begin to become highly, highly suggestible and impressionable, meaning that we start to adapt and adopt, oftentimes, anger that isn't ours, or it begins to stimulate anger within us, because we're taught that it is personal, it's our personal anger, rather than what the archetypes teach, what I'm trying to really teach, which is that we are structured by these energies. Like the piano, they are part of our composition. And a lot of the etiquette of energy, a lot of the questions going on now is why is when one gets angry, so often they become self-immolating. And when I'm showing the hieroglyph to individuals, I'll often have them stand in front of the mirror. And I'll say, if you're at a mirror and you throw something, you see in the mirror, you'd see what you're looking at because it's in reflection. You don't realize it's behind you, you think it's in front of you, so you throw something at it and your hand hits the mirror. And if that's explosive, then it comes back on you. If it's on fire, if you're on fire, suddenly you are self-immolating. You're setting yourself on fire. But if we look a bit more deeply, like a type of interactive martial arts lesson, which is always asking, how do you use your energies wisely? If it is in a time of chaos, are you defined by that chaos? If individuals are acting angrily, are you reacting angrily? I know I do. I know that my energies are at a very high stress level. And so it tells me that it's not personal. It's in the human condition, in a way like our weather is very stressed, from the heat domes to the shifting of currents to all of these things that we all know. It is upon us in a besetting way, meaning you can't really point and go, well, that's good. It's more like, why is it all essentially happening from every direction? But again, if we look at this more from martial art that is saying, I want you to begin to understand, yes, these things are real, but where is your energy best spent? If you recognize in yourself that, yes, I get angry, then what do you do to take that fire, that fury, and again, not have it come back on you, like, and then suddenly you're in a chain of hate because you gave your hate, you're suddenly in a type of reciprocal relationship. And this is a lot to do with, and this is one of the reasons why I do film in the garden as well, because it's a great metaphor of beginning to recognize that we are the ones that must find whatever that is for whatever your particular story is. Like, where can I find the garden? It doesn't have to be the garden literally, but where can I go and be alone? Where can I turn off technology? Where can I not be involved in this soap opera that wants to drag me in? And it baits all the time. Oh, do you know what they're doing? Oh, did you see the outrage? Oh my God, she said what? And we are so dragged into it over and over again that I am convinced, though, it is saying to many of us, every time it does, we begin to compensate and say, I'm not going to allow myself to be hypnotized, but only I can do that. And if I find myself blaming the world for not doing that, then I'm still being hypnotized by this consciousness that says there's a bad guy and a good guy. The deeper consciousness is saying this is holographic. We are one, meaning that we are in a larger relationship to what we would think of as a thought form. As one thinketh, so they become. Meaning that what we are attending to now is essential, which over and over again, when people come here, I remind them, you are the technology. You are woven of a story that tells you in your own DNA, in your own science, that you are woven of all of the qualities and conditions that precede us. And all of the qualities and conditions that precede us were never about avoiding, getting out of, or changing the actual context of the story. But it was always about, what do you take out of these impossible conditions? How do you take them and turn them into pigment to paint with, rather than essentially soil to cover over your corpse because you've allowed yourself to die inwardly? But that's our fierceness. Our anger is, I will not be defined. Maybe I can't do it so anyone else cares, but I care. Maybe that is our inner fierceness waking up and going, now you're graduating from general infantry where you're following orders to becoming a samurai, becoming Bushido, because you are no longer following nor reacting to a world you find despicable. You are navigating a world that is beautiful and ugly, but you're not saying it is my job to correct it one way or the other. It is my job always to be part of a story that says we are the ones that change the story, by beginning to ask the question, where will I tell this story from? Why will I tell this story? And to what end? And here in the garden, it says, begin with where you love, where you live. Remember that everyone is angry, so you can't shout at anybody. And last of all, don't stand at the mirror shouting at yourself, because the truth is, turn around. You've got way more responsibility, and it's not to get somewhere else. It's to finally take this very difficult moment in history and say, maybe I'm here for a reason. Maybe this place needs me. Maybe it doesn't need the old me that agreed to be angry about everything. It needs the new me to take that anger and say, I think I'll apply it. I think I'll take this and turn it into something that might nourish rather than simply dissipate. So.